couple of questions that I'll pose to you. Oh, my bra just came apart. Oh.
Meryl Streep wants a stage comeback with Martin Short, and he says they're trying. Then, one London appearance landed exactly 49 years after her last Broadway show closed. Was it coincidence? Or is this plan closer than anyone realized? The story didn't begin with a secret contract or leaked rehearsal. It began with television. Meryl joined Only Murders in the Building in 2023 as Loretta Durkin. Martin played Oliver Putnam, a Broadway director hiding fear behind confidence. Their characters fell in love. The pairing worked because it never felt like a loud celebrity stunt. It felt awkward, tender, funny, and surprisingly believable. Then the attention moved off screen. Fans studied their award show appearances, dinners, smiles, and shared gestures. Martin answered the romance question directly in January 2024. He said they weren't a couple. He described Meryl as a very close friend. That remains the clearest public answer from either star. So, this story won't declare a private romance as established fact. The verified development is professional. And here's the detail that raises the stakes. Meryl's last listed Broadway production was Happy End in 1977. Martin, meanwhile, won a Tony Award for Little Me in 1999. This wouldn't pair a movie legend with a stage beginner. It would reunite two experienced theater performers after television revealed their chemistry. For months, that possibility existed mainly inside fan conversations. Then Meryl said something herself. On April 20th, 2026, Meryl appeared on SiriusXM's Andy Cohen Live. Andy Cohen asked whether she would ever return to Broadway. Meryl didn't dodge the question. She said she would love to return. Then she brought up Martin without being asked to name him. Meryl said she had discussed the idea with Marty Short. She added that they thought a project together could be fun. That was a small comment with a major consequence. It confirmed that the conversation had actually happened. No anonymous insider was needed. No photograph had to be decoded. Meryl had placed Martin inside her possible Broadway future. But one major question remained. Was Martin seriously exploring it? Or had they only shared a pleasant idea between friends? 3 weeks later, he answered. On May 10, CBS Sunday Morning raised the possible Broadway collaboration. Martin's response began with a real update. "We are trying to figure out something," he said. Then he covered the serious answer with a joke. Martin said they weren't sure the box office would be there. He called working with Meryl a gamble. He joked that nobody knew whether audiences would come. The joke worked because everyone understood the opposite. A Meryl Streep and Martin Short production would attract enormous attention. But the laugh almost hid the most important phrase. They were trying to figure something out. That doesn't mean a production has been approved. It doesn't mean contracts have been signed. However, it confirms that Meryl's comment wasn't one-sided. Both performers had discussed the possibility. Both publicly acknowledged it, and Martin's wording suggested that interest wasn't the problem. Finding the right project was. That's harder than it sounds. Famous names can create attention. They can't rescue the wrong story through an entire theater run. Meryl brings emotional control, dramatic weight, and sharp comedy. Martin brings speed, physical humor, and decades of live timing. The project would need space for both. A weak celebrity comedy could waste their talent. A heavy drama might bury Martin's greatest strengths. The material must justify putting these two performers together. That may explain why nothing official has appeared. There's no confirmed title. There's no announced writer. There's no named producer, theater, or opening date. The conversation is verified. The production isn't. But what nobody expected was their next public appearance. On July 10th, 2026, Meryl and Martin attended the West End production 1536. The play explores fear and power during Henry VIII's conflict with Anne Boleyn. It tells that history through three women living away from the royal court. After the performance, Meryl and Martin visited the cast backstage. Actor Tanya Reynolds later shared photographs from their meeting. She jokingly called the visitors the Queen and King. Reynolds also described Meryl kneeling and bowing before the cast. The moment showed respect, not ego. One of the world's most honored actors had entered their workplace. Instead of demanding their attention, she gave attention back to them. Martin remained beside her during the backstage visit. First, it looked like a warm theater night between close friends. Then, the date surfaced. And that date turned a pleasant outing into the strangest detail yet. July 10 wasn't only the date of their London appearance. Meryl's final Broadway production, Happy End, closed on July 10th, 1977. Exactly 49 years separated those two theater nights. There's no evidence that Meryl or Martin planned that connection. Treating it like a secret message would go beyond the facts. But as a coincidence, it carries genuine emotional weight. Think about the distance between those dates. In 1977, Meryl was still building the career that would define her life. Happy End ran for 75 Broadway performances before closing. 49 years later, she entered another theater as Meryl Streep. Decades of films, awards, risks, and reinventions separated those nights. Yet backstage in London, she still reacted like an actor moved by actors. She bowed. Martin stood beside her, and both had already confirmed discussions about working together on stage. That is the real peak of this story. Not a romance announcement. Not a signed Broadway deal. It's the alignment of three verified facts. Meryl said she wants to return with Martin. Martin said they're trying to find something. Then they spent July 10 supporting a live production together. So, is the Broadway comeback officially happening? No. But is it only an internet rumor? No, again. The talks are real. The interest is mutual. The missing piece is the project itself. And that answer means more than another blurry dinner photograph. Strip away the relationship rumors, and the real picture becomes clear. Meryl has publicly expressed interest in returning to Broadway. She specifically named Martin as the person involved in those discussions. Martin independently confirmed they were trying to find something. Their London appearance doesn't prove a production is already being developed. But it shows that live theater remains part of their shared world. What hasn't been confirmed matters just as much. There's no announced play. There's no named producer. There's no confirmed theater. There's no opening date. And neither performer has publicly changed Martin's earlier friendship description. That boundary keeps the story honest, but honesty doesn't make this update less exciting. Meryl doesn't need Broadway to validate her career. Martin doesn't need another stage credit to prove he can command an audience. They would be returning because the challenge still appeals to them. Live theater removes almost every safety net. There's no second take after a missed beat. There's no close-up guiding the audience's attention. There's no editor repairing the rhythm. The performers must build the moment and hold the room themselves. That pressure could explain why they're being careful. The right project could become a major theatrical event. The wrong one could waste a pairing audiences already enjoy. So, the next real clue won't be another restaurant sighting. It will be a title. A writer. A producer. A theater. Or an opening date. Until one of those appears, The correct description remains simple. Meryl Streep and Martin Short have confirmed Broadway discussions. They haven't confirmed a Broadway production. And that remarkable July 10 connection remains exactly what the evidence supports. A coincidence. A powerful one. Remember the question from the beginning. Was that London date a sign that the plan is getting closer? The date alone proves nothing, but the public statements from both performers prove the idea is alive. The date may have been a coincidence. The Broadway talks weren't. Now. Everything depends on whether Meryl and Martin find material worthy of them both. Next, watch our verified breakdown of every public clue behind their relationship rumors. Subscribe if you want celebrity stories separating confirmed facts from viral assumptions.